Welcome back aboard Blurred Force One with your boys Mo and Lottie. And this is the Supercast where we talk about all things superhero in our pop culture media, and that's video games, movies, TV shows. We talk about the news, do some speculation, all that good nerdy stuff. And before we get into this podcast today, do us a favor, get down there, hit like on the video, or if you are listening on a podcasting platform, do us a favor, go over there and give us, a 5-star review if that's what you think we would deserve, or any kind of feedback. We really appreciate that. And this is, I guess we're in another lull week. Hey, we did have the end of my Adventures of Superman. You can go check out our review of that. That was really cool, but we're just kind of in a little bit of a slow news week. But we're gonna make it through because we got plenty of news to talk about. And before we talk about that, Lottie, my friend, how are you doing this evening? And what kind of nerdy stuff you been up to, man?
Well, like I said, I've been playing the shit out of No Man's Sky lately. I've added
Not
so
not
much into this.
Starfield. Well, not Starfield though.
Nah, Starfield, pretty much from what I've heard from people who have the game, is pretty much almost what I expected. It's not as complete as people were hoping. So I was like, why would I spend $70 on a game that I already have? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
I was like, nah, I'm gonna stick to No Man's Sky.
that's one of my least favorite things about the last 20 years of gaming, um, especially when consoles got hard drives. Is we'll fix it in post. Like, go fix it in post. No, give me a damn game that actually works the way it's intended to from the get go. So that's
It-
I
It's it's not that the game is broken. Well, it is unoptimized. It is definitely unoptimized. But it's more of that the game is just they're over promising. It took No Man's Sky 6 years to get to what they were saying they will have at day one. You stop lying. You know what I mean?
well, if you didn't lie to the consumer, they'd never buy your stuff. So, I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
you- we
That
we
is true.
we are who we are. They sell to us that way because of who we are. So, well, that's cool. I'm glad you're having fun with that. Maybe one day I'll boot up my car. That's hilarious. Every other one of my games on my Steam list is just like they'll never be played. But one day maybe I'll play it. Um, I've just been like trying to keep up with all of the content that's going on. I went and saw The Equalizer 3 over the weekend.
How
Watched.
was it?
It was fine. I won't even say fine. If you like the first two, this is up your alley. I don't think it's as
Okay.
good as the first two. Definitely not as good as the first one. But it's pretty much what you would expect. It's like what if Michael Myers was a CIA hitman? Basically, he just fucking people up left and right. So I had a good time with it. It just I probably won't watch it again for a while. Also, watched the first couple episodes of Twisted Metal. Doing something for the channel with that. That was it's pretty good so far. I'm enjoying it. So, and played some Street Fighter as usual. So that's all my nerdy stuff. So, but either way, we're here to talk about superhero stuff. And Lottie, we got some good news items, some good discussion topics. Like, Prime Video suddenly has a bunch of HBO stuff, including some titles that you may recognize from DC. What does that mean for as a consumer? What does it mean for the landscape for streaming and for content creation? We're gonna talk briefly about Iman Vellani and the moves she's making, not just as Miss Marvel, but as the writer of Miss Marvel. Agatha House of Harkness gets a name change and a date change. And speaking of date changes, Marvel TV shows, they've got some dates that have changed. We're going to discuss why that is and which one of them or all of them, are we excited about. There was a fun little discussion topic about the character ages in Marvel the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I thought that'd be fun to kind of look at and quote Marvel over. A little update on the strike and VFX artists unionizing and what the strike is doing to the bottom line for some companies. So, Lottie, that's a good little bit to talk about here, man. You ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's get into it. So, Lottie, I don't know about you. I was just on Prime Video because Wheel of Time dropped over the weekend. So I was like, let me see how many episodes. Let me see what's up. And I looked on there, and it's just like, oh, stream the Batman. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, is this, I was thinking like, oh, maybe they're trying to get you to sign up for Max channels, or they have the Paramount Plus Max and all these other things that you can do as channels on Prime Video, right? But no, I was surprised. I started scrolling through, and there is Wonder Woman, and there's Aquaman, and there's Watchmen. And I discovered that a ton of HBO content or Max content, whatever, the Warner Brothers Discovery content, is actually on Prime Video right now. And that intrigued me. There was no news that said, hey, this is happening until I kind of looked around a little bit and realized that actually Max's, Discovery, they started licensing their content. I think we talked about it before. They licensed some of it to Tubi or to Roku channel or something like that to stream some of their TV shows. But this is actual blockbuster content that's on Prime right now. If you have a Prime account, free for you to go ahead and watch. So if you do have Prime and you've never seen some of these movies, the original Batman or anything like that, this is the time to go hook it up and check it out. But Lottie, what do you reckon about this? What does this say to you about the landscape of streaming, and that Prime Video has got some of the premier Warner Brothers Discovery titles?
Honestly, I think that's the way to do it. In my opinion, all this exclusivity stuff is what's making people lose money. You know what I mean? It's like Disney. I understand you want, because this is mainly this is mainly talking to Disney. Disney, I understand you want exclusivity to your stuff, and you don't want anybody else owning it. But at the same time, not everybody wants to have a million different subscriptions. Some people just want to have their few subscriptions that they have. And it'll just be nice to watch, uh, a Marvel TV show on Prime. Yes, they might be your competitor, but hey, they're the competitor that's paying you to see something that's getting you more views. Like, in my opinion, I don't understand exclusivity over streaming. In my opinion, it's one of the dumbest thing you can have. Like, exclusivity for something that you're getting paid for makes sense, but streaming, no, that's just dumb.
Yeah.
Why not get paid for what you made, what you did hard work about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
understand. Okay, I understand. Maybe like the first 6 months, you can only watch it on Disney Plus. But after those 6 months or 3 to 6 months, put that shit on. Put that shit on Amazon Prime or Netflix.
Yeah. Well, I think this is really speaking to the existential crisis that the studios and their respective streaming services are having right now. Like, Disney this week, they canned three shows that they've spent money to produce. They exist. They're filmed. They're done, but they're not gonna pay for them, so they can them to save money, right? And maybe they'll show up on another streaming service. They'll be licensed out, whatever. But the point is that you're right. Exclusivity sounded good. It sounded like, oh, we have this exclusive content, therefore people are going to feel like they have to come and pay for our service. And then what they found out was, sure, they'll show up for that thing and then they'll cancel your service, right?
Yeah.
And in the meantime, as long as you have it, you have to pay residuals. You got to pay the creators and everything, which I'm all for. They should. and I'm not for them getting rid of content. So the answer here seems to be, and Zaslav and the Discovery people that took over Warner Brothers looked at it and said, this is dumb. Paying for the Snyder Cut's dumb. Paying for Batgirl's dumb. Paying for Blue Beetle's dumb. If you're not going to get any money back for it. And you can only get so many subscribers, but people on other streaming services are always needing content. That's one thing I don't know how they missed this. Like, sometimes I'm convinced that these people that make 6-figure salaries are stupid as shit because they don't understand the basic way we as consumers think. Like, maybe they don't watch the shit that they sell, but it seems kind of stupid to say to yourself, oh, people will just want to go to my streaming service just to watch all my content, my specific. No, people want variety. I hate the idea that, like, well, fuck, now I got to get Netflix because Witcher, and now I got to get, I got to get Max because of Peacemaker. Now you keep doing that. Whereas if you're a Prime subscriber, today you can watch, maybe not Peacemaker, but you can watch Suicide Squad and you can watch Wonder Woman. You can watch all these cool things, and you understand that, 3, 4, or 5 months from now, maybe it'll be gone. And then something else cycles in. We like variety.
Yeah.
And also, sell your shit to Prime. Amazon has all the fucking money in the world. They've got all the money. This is how much money Amazon's got. They got so much money that Prime Video is just a bonus. They don't give a fuck. They want you to have Amazon Prime so you can do delivery and buy shit from them. They don't give. Prime Video is just like, oh yeah, you get this too. They don't care about that. I mean, they care a little bit. They don't want to lose money. So, they've canceled shows or whatever too. They've canceled, stuff that they've greenlit also. But licensing content that they know people already want to see, that's a fucking no-brainer.
Exactly.
Like, you're right, Disney. You need to get on this. They paying cash money right now. You better get over there.
Like I said, especially the ones that've been doing it forever, like Prime,
Netflix
Paramount,
will do it. I mean,
Netflix, like the people that know how to push your show out there. Like, they've been doing this before you even started. Like, it's nothing wrong with it. I remember we had this discussion a couple years ago when you kind of gave me the business when I was like trying to say Sony should have their own streaming service, and you're like, for what? Why? Yeah. And the more and more after you said it, it's right. Why do that? Like, why have your own streaming service when fucking Netflix, like for example, HBO Max, why have a Sony streaming network when HBO Max will buy The Last of Us?
Yeah. There's more to the point. The best analogy is, why own a crack house when you can just sell people the supplies for crack.
Exactly.
To make crack. You don't even have to. You just hey, there you go. You supply them. That's a horrible analogy, but my point is, if you're a pimp and you have hoes, there's no, you just have them in your house where no one's really, only a certain number of people come in. Or are you going to have them, spread out amongst all of them? That's another horrible analogy, but you get my point.
I get your point.
These things are made to make money, and the only way they make money is if somebody's paying for it. And if it's you paying for it, they're a money loss. That's just it. There you go.
Yeah.
So this is smart. I'm not a fan of Zaslav and what the shit he's doing, especially with the strike and all that other stuff, and cutting. I want to see Batgirl, but this is a fucking no-brainer. If Amazon wants to pay to see your shit, who gives a fuck if you're getting paid from HBO Max or from Prime? You're getting paid either way.
Exactly.
The Amazon money spends real good.
Exactly.
So anyway, I thought that was interesting. I think we're going to see a lot more of that. I think Disney is about to stop doing this exclusivity shit. I know Paramount is about to start. They already do that anyway. A lot of these streamers are about to be like, nah, exclusive. What's that? I don't know what that is. So
Hmm.
we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. Let you guys know about that. But in the meantime, go hit up Prime and watch all that DC stuff, man. You will not be disappointed.
Yep.
Real quick, I wanted to kind of celebrate and just this, whenever nerds, out there are doing their thing, they're, positivity and making moves and just like creating, we got to celebrate. And I can't celebrate this. This is a nerd we have to celebrate at all times. I used to say I stand Iman Vellani. I that young lady is living her best nerd life, and the way I know that is not only was she an MCU nerd who, she got to be her favorite character in the Marvel comics, Miss Marvel, and she did an awesome job. She's just wonderful as Miss Marvel, as Kamala Khan. But now Lottie, now she gets to write Miss Marvel in the Marvel Comics universe. Like, talk about a nerd making it. I'm
Yep.
just saying, just a nerd and I can't be anything but happy. The first episode of her limited series, in which she, Miss Marvel, she died recently in the comics, but she's been reborn because she's a mutant, and that's the way things work in the MCU, Marvel Comics universe. Don't ask me to explain it; it's the thing that's happening. She was reborn. She's a mutant. She knows that she is,
Body
and
replacement.
well, yes. I mean, I think I've explained before. There's a mist. I think an island or something that will, will, resurrect people. Basically, that's. I mean, look,
Mm.
it's comic book stuff. That's what you need to know. The point is that Iman Vellani is co-writing. She's not doing all the writing because she's inexperienced in actual comics writing, but she's co-writing with one of the writers from the Miss Marvel TV show to kind of reintroduce Miss Marvel as a mutant. So, Lottie, I mean, I don't think either of us are going to read this because we don't really read comics anymore. But I mean, come on, we got to be happy for her, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's living the dream. It's like me. I'm into video games. It's like all of a sudden, Sony goes like, "Hey, you want to make a video game? I might pass out." Like it's like imagine it's not only Sony, but then it was like Santa Monica Studio that was like, "Hey, you want to make a video game?" Nani? I
What if
lose my mind.
what if it was Bethesda? What
Uh
or
oh. I don't care who it is.
how about what if it was Activision?
I don't care who it is. Honestly, anybody that gives me an opportunity to make something, I will be happy to do it.
How
Now,
about Mojang?
who?
The people that make all those horrible mobile games.
Oh, those motherfuckers. And trash ass motherfuckers. Yeah, they make those terrible ass. I just hate where mobile gaming has went. Like I thought mobile gaming was like my future, but now it's just like it's a race to the damn bottom. Who can make the worst mobile game possible and make money from it? That is what mobile gaming is nowadays.
Yeah, I blame TikTok, but
Yes, you're not wrong.
but yeah, but my Monva like this is because remember I think I told you like when she first met Kevin Feige, she gave him like a list of 40 questions that she wanted answered about the MCU. And she's as they call it, she's sweaty. She's deep into this. She goes to comic shops. She actually they showed a picture of her signing copies of this at the comic shop she was going to when she first really got into comic books.
Hmm.
So like, I just really the whole point of this is not really much discussion. Just saying like, let's just like give this girl her props. Like she's living her best nerd life possible, and she's
Yep.
just she got the Marvels coming out in November, and she's clearly going to be a part of the MCU going forward. And my God, it couldn't have happened to a better person. I think, as someone said, protect her from all the internet trolls. Like we must protect her innocence because we need that. We need that energy, man.
I
Look.
mean, even from like quote unquote toxic fans, like in my opinion, one of the people that like no one dislikes. I mean, if you dislike her, you're weird because she's because you know like one of the things that some people will say, well, you never read the comic book. Well, she did, so
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
She is everyone. She's known as the MCU nerd. Like literally on the set of the Marvels, some of the assistant directors would double check with her. She was the Marvel Encyclopedia. I'm telling you, like it's just too wholesome, and we gotta protect our innocence. She is the future Kevin Feige, and she will only achieve that if the internet doesn't tear her down. So we're forming a circle around her, and I dare you. I wish a motherfucker would. It, anyway, I just love to see it. Actually, I might try to check it out when it's all completed, and see what's up with that. So anyway, good job, Iman Vellani. We're all for what you're doing. Speaking of MCU, man, there's a larger. We're going to talk about Agatha, House of Harkness, but there's a larger backdrop that this all is related to, and that is the strike and Marvel TV shows being affected by the strike. We already know about like the movies. We saw that they got moved and everything, but we didn't hear anything about the TV shows. But we did find out some stuff this week. One of the things we found out is that Agatha, House of Harkness is no longer called Agatha, House of Harkness. It is now called Agatha Darkhold Diaries, and it is set to premiere next year. Like it says early fall of next year. So what is going on, Lottie? I really just like this name change. This is the second name change for this show, and it's been moved again. Obviously that's due to like strike things, but also I think there may be more to this. What do you think?
I don't know how to feel about Agatha, the show. I don't know how to feel because I don't understand how this connects to the the MC. I understand not everything needs to connect, but it's just one of those things that I'm just like, what is the goal of this show? Because the main the main reason for the whole thing of Agatha, she's dead, you know?
Well, she's not dead. She's just stuck. She's stuck in whatever the name of that town was. I forget what it's called. She's stuck magically.
No. I'm talking about uh
Oh, you're talking about
the
Wanda.
Scarlet
Yeah,
Witch.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Wanda. Like, yeah, Wanda
Oh,
is that's the whole thing.
good point. Like, so maybe
Be-
the Darkhold, maybe since she's not alive anymore, maybe that breaks her out of the spell.
Maybe. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I think it's interesting they changed the name again. Like when they changed the name of Captain America, New World
But if they're
Order to
changing it to the name The Diary,
yeah,
that
Darkhold
makes me believe.
Diaries.
Yeah, if they make me, if that, it almost makes me believe that this is almost not happening in, this is like a flashback type show.
Well, I mean, it could be that while she's stuck in that town, but I also think the Darkhold Diaries name change is sort of a play on like Sex in the City. There's a prequel to it called the Carrie Diaries, and so it
Mhm.
could be something like that where it's more focused on a different kind of storytelling, kind of the way the WandaVision was like we're gonna do different kinds of TV shows and everything like that. Maybe it's more like I don't want to say Sex in the City, but sort of like that than necessarily like Miss Marvel or even She-Hulk. She-Hulk played around with convention and genre also. So maybe that's what's going on there. But I, at the very least, I think that this says that Iger's whole talking about we're gonna slow down and get the quality on point. This might be also because they pushed it back a year. This is now, and you can't tell me the strike is pushing it back a year if they were busy shooting this for months, before the strike. So I think it's less that and more. They're probably going to spend a little more money to do some reshoots and retooling the show to be in line with what their overall vision is. I think that that's probably what's happening. um,
Hmm.
and maybe to give it its own voice. Because I think one thing that's kind of bugging me, and I again remind y'all, I'm an MCU stan, so don't get it twisted. I like the shows, but one thing that sort of bugs me is that a lot of them are very much in the same vein. They're playing it very, very safe and very kind of run of the mill MCU, which was fine 10 years ago, but it's not fine now. And like
Hmm.
one thing I liked about She-Hulk was that it really kind of stepped outside of that and did something different. And What If really the animated show kind of did also. So maybe they're trying to give it more of a voice, and I hope that's true. So well, we'll see. We'll let you guys know when we get some more information on that. But sticking to the whole Marvel TV show date changes, we got a whole list here of the things we know that are coming. So it's something like 6 or 7 things. So we know that Loki's supposed to be premiering on October 6th. That's not changing. That's the same thing's happening. So we can expect that in a couple months. But What If season 2 has been up in the air this whole time? Like Lottie, I don't think we ever had a date on that, did we? I think they always said it was just going to be this year or next year or something like that.
Hmm.
But we still don't have a date. All it says around Christmas. What kind of damn scheduling is that around Christmas? That's boy. There's a lot of days around Christmas. So, but before the end of the year seems to be the deal for What If season 2. Um, we also have Echo. Now that Echo's been, shall we say, troubled. Is it? I'm being nice. They did. Remember they were talking about doing reshoots and that it was testing badly and all this other stuff. And like they moved it. They've already moved this a couple times now, and so now it's January of 2024. So we're in 4 or 5 months. X-Men 97, another show. Remember they announced this one a couple years ago, and it's an animated show, so you would think we'd have had it by now, and yet we have not gotten it. Now it's moved to quote early 2024, so that could be any time within the first few months, I would assume. And then of course, like I said, Agatha Darkhold Diaries in fall of 2024, and that's the only dates we have. The only kind of confirmed it's coming out at some point. Everything else, that's Ironheart, Daredevil, and the Wonder Man series. Which, by the way, Daredevil and Wonder Man were in the middle of filming when the writer's strike started, and of course they shut down once the actors' strike started. Ironheart is completed filming, but it has not been scheduled, and all of them are kind of on hold indefinitely, pending the return, of writers and actors. And but I don't think that's Lottie. I don't think that's it though. I don't think that's because why Ironheart? Why would that be on hold? What do you think? First of all, what do you think about all these changes? But in particular about Ironheart, why is it not scheduled?
I almost it might get canceled, man.
I no, it's been filmed, so I don't think it's not gonna be. They've already spent the money. It's
Maybe it's gonna get reshipped.
as far as I've heard, it's done. And I've also
It's
heard,
done,
yeah,
like done. Like they're not gonna do reshoots.
yeah. As far as I know, it's done. I mean, they could do reshoots, sure, why not? Uh, but I've been reading some people speculating about why, and it has to do with Armor Wars, which remember they got turned into a movie,
Yeah,
and
maybe they're waiting until after Armor
or
Wars.
or somewhere around Armor Wars because maybe it's related. Um, or
Probably. Maybe what's the name?
if you're a toxic fan, it's woke trash, and that's why they're canning it. It's canceled forever. So which one of those seems more likely?
Probably want to release it around Armor Wars. Maybe Rhodey takes her underneath his belt or something. Oh,
Yeah.
that was a low blow because Rhodey can't walk.
Well, yeah. uh, Apparently he can't walk, but Scroldy could. So
Which is that is an actual question. Like, I was just thinking about that. Did they? You know what? Let's not talk
Yeah.
about it.
Stop. You're thinking too hard about a bad show. So. Anyway, I whatever. Uh, so that's going on. But like all of these date changes, like Lottie, this is seemed like. I mean, as far as I can tell, this is fucking around and finding out. But also, I really do think some of this is, like X-Men '97 is animated, it has nothing to do with the strikes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what if season 2 animated has nothing to do with the strikes? So what is really going on here? I wonder.
I don't know, man. It feels like recently. It just feels like just not just them, just in general. Shows are not. They're not too keen to like doing animation. It sucks, you know. That sucks that that's like that, but I just noticed that it seems like animation is not the focus on a lot of people. Like, because now, as much as I was like talking talking up Bleach and talking down other things, Bleach just went on a hiatus, and it's like, for what? In the middle of the show, in the season, like you didn't finish the final two episodes.
Look, Lottie,
Yeah.
it's either that hiatus or uh 10 filler episodes. Which one do you prefer? 10 filler episodes? All
Touche,
right, cool.
touche,
Um
touche.
That's like we'll reach it in a a year, give or take filler. Give or take a few filler.
Give or take a few filler.
But no, Daredevil and Wonder Man makes sense to me. They are in the middle of filming. They're not going to be ready. They need actors and they need writers. Ironheart makes sense to me if it is going to be scheduled around Armor Wars, which has not filmed, by the way, has not started filming. And the Darkhold Diaries, clearly that's, I think it's being retooled. Echo, I think, and they're supposed to drop it completely, everything at once. And I hope that's not to bury it. I really do. I hope that's not to bury it. So I don't know. I choose to remain optimistic for the MCU's stuff. And at the very least, we can say within 4 or 5 months, we're going to get, half of this stuff. The only thing that's we won't get within the next 6 months is the Darkhold Diaries, and then of course the ones that are on hold. So either way, I guess we'll let you guys know what's going on if we get some more information. I'm sure they'll start dropping hints and all that stuff in the next couple months. At this time for a little bit of nerd discussion, Lottie. This could be fun. I was looking on Twitter, as I do, and somehow trying to avoid the cesspools and everything of nerd culture and superhero culture. And I saw Marvel India posted something, and the post said, "Proof, age is just a number," right? And so it listed the ages of 6 or 5 of the MCU heroes. And for some reason they didn't list Red Skull. I don't know why. But so I didn't know this, and I never thought about it, but maybe I should have. So they're going from youngest to oldest. And first one is Carol Danvers. This is the one that kind of, actually, let me go from oldest to youngest. The oldest to make sense. Thor at 1,500 plus years old, Earth years old. Then Wen Wu, aka the Mandarin, over 1,000 years old. I didn't even know that Thor and him were so close in age, and of course he's dead now. So, but 1,000 plus years old. And then the next youngest, Steve Rogers at they say 100 plus years old. And also Bucky Barnes, also 100 plus years old. And the youngest of the olds, Carol Danvers at 60 plus years old. Lottie, I fucking forgot that Carol Danvers is older woman. I forgot about that. It took me. I was like 60 plus. Is that right? No, I was like, wait a minute. It's 2023, and she was probably in her early 30s in 1992. Fuck yeah, she's like 60 something years old. Doesn't look a day over 28. Just
Yeah.
that Infinity Stone is doing its job.
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
I thought that I was like that's kind of like who I didn't think about that. I don't often think about the ages of these people, but when you look at the chronology of the MCU, if you go like in order, what happened first, Captain Marvel is actually like number 2 or 3. If you count Agent Carter, it's number 3 on the list in the MCU chronology. Taking place in '92. And I was like, well, God, I guess she is AARP age. That's crazy. You wouldn't know.
ARP.
The other ones make sense to me. But having Bucky and Cap, he's the right age, now because he's old man Cap. But I keep forgetting Bucky's 100 years old.
Oh yeah.
And he's not I was frozen in ice 100 years old. He was I've been in suspended animation repeatedly over the years. So my question is, why is he not more racist? Am I wrong about that? Why is he not more racist?
He's friends with Steve. If you're a friend of Steve Rogers, you're a good person. Steve is only going to be friends with good people.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
I'm just saying, like, why is he does not act like an old man. It's as if they said, let's forget about the fact that he grew up in the 20s and just like we're not even going to address that. He's a modern man now. Unlike Steve Rogers, he really did go out and get a TikTok account and figure out how the world works.
And has jungle fever.
Yeah, that's why I said I can't believe he's not more racist.
I mean, the man spent like 2 years in Wakanda, and now has the hots for Falcon's sister. I mean, the man. I remember when people said he has jungle fever. I was like, "You think it's a shock?" The man trained with the Dora Milaje. Look at them women. Come on, man. You don't think he's banged 1 or 2 of them? Come on, man.
Well, the better question is, you don't think they banged him?
Exactly. Either or. Either or. You think that man? You don't think that man had some fun?
So here,
man.
I just want the whole world to know, Bucky Barnes was born in like the 20s, and he's not racist. So what the fuck is your excuse? Like you know who I'm talking to. The hell is your excuse? This dude was alive when Jim Crow was just normal, and yet he's smarter than that. So, and of course the GOAT Steve Rogers, he's not racist. The Wenwu thing, I always thought that was really cool. Marvel's missing an opportunity, I believe, by not having some kind of prequel comic or what if, like, if they don't have in What If Season 2, what if Black Panther fought the Mandarin, and a Black Panther from like 200 to 400 years ago fought the Mandarin and won? If y'all don't have that, what are you doing with your time? Like, to me, that's one of the most obvious stories ever. There's been a Black Panther for who knows how long, but generations. And Wenwu is a conqueror. You don't think he would have come to Africa and been like, I'm taking over Wakanda? Just give that to me. So
he would have just laughed at him.
Here's the thing. The Black Panthers are so badass, I believe that they beat his ass. In my heart, I'm just like, nah, Wenwu didn't have it in it. He thought he had the juice, and he definitely didn't. So, anyway, I thought that was an interesting little post and a fun little thing to talk about. Marvel's got that's the thing. They got so many characters and so much intricate storylines that, you'll be forgiven for forgetting about the fact that there are some old ass people that are still heroes. So anyway, we'll, you know, if we missed some, I'm pretty sure there are some we missed. You know, who are some other older heroes that you could list? Last thing, we're going to talk about strike-related stuff, Lottie. And this is, you know, the strike is, as far as I'm concerned, in Hollywood, it is the thing to talk about. Obviously, we're getting movies right now, we're getting TV shows and everything, but no actors are talking about it. No writers are writing on anything. They're not producing anything. We're about to get, the fall has started. No new fall TV. We're going to be watching reruns and stuff from other countries and stuff they've had like in the can for a while. But that doesn't mean there isn't like the business of the strike isn't like, you know, affecting the bottom line. So part of this is an update that the unionization, man, it's making a comeback. I always thought that it was, you know, unionizing was dead in this country, but somehow in the midst of these two strikes, the Marvel VFX artists are voting on whether or not to form a union, to join IATSE. And we expect to see that, the results of that, because it finalizes in the, like, I think next week. I think the 12th is the final day for voting. So I suspect in the next couple of weeks, we're going to hear about, I hope, that they successfully unionized. And it's not just that, man. You know, remember was it UPS or FedEx that were striking also? Am I right about that?
Mm-hmm.
So other people are getting on this. And here's the great thing. Did you hear about all the Hollywood studios are like, oh shit, we look bad. Let's hire a PR firm. No, motherfuckers, just pay. Just open up your wallets, you know, let a little bit of that money flow, and this shit can all be over. Like, Lottie, what?
You're asking for too much.
It's hard not to look at these motherfuckers as evil billionaires. It really is. Like, it's not. Greed sucks, and that's what the fuck this is, man. It's just like, what are you doing? Or hire a PR firm, or just do the right thing. And you always can tell you're dealing with who you're dealing with when the idea is, oh man, we're looking bad. Look, the public thinks we're looking bad. Let's try to make them think we look good. And I'm like, oh, no, but you're looking bad for a reason. It's not optics. It's because you're fucking doing something bad. Lottie, I feel a rant coming on.
It's just like I said, man. At this point, I am so disappointed with the way that the simple fact that the strike is becoming a meme. That is not funny. It's actually quite sad, but it's just the way it is, man. People, you know, these organizations, these corporate companies, like you said, the answer's so easy. Just pay more. Like I saw this thing on the thing that on Facebook. They were like, "Did you know that the people who played in the Power Rangers TV show only made $600? They only made $600 a week and don't get residuals." I was like, "That is fucked up."
Yep.
That is fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Well, big surprise. Companies will pay you as little as possible, and if the less they can pay you to get the same work out of you, the less they will. That's why if you ever hear anyone say we shouldn't have a minimum wage because the market will sort it out, you're right. The market will sort it out. It'll be a race to the bottom. That is always the reason why unions exist, is because the race to the bottom will always be worse for the workers. That's like, it would be common sense if we didn't live in a country and a not just a country, but like a society that gaslights workers into devaluing themselves and their labor. And fortunately, and the actors and the writers long ago realized the way the wind was blowing, and they got some protections and they got organized, and they have some power to do something about this. And unfortunately for them, like, I don't understand why the studios thought that, oh, it's going to be a winning strategy to act like the every actor is an entitled. All it took it, maybe this worked 20 years ago, but we have social media now, and every fucking actor, all of these underpaid actors that aren't living the high life, that aren't they're not Brad Pitt and they're not fucking Leonardo DiCaprio, can just show you a screenshot of their residual checks, which are trash, right? But what did they?
Mhm.
This is why I said these people that make 6-figure salaries, they make a lot of money to do stupid ass shit. Because it's dumb as hell to think, oh, we can PR our way out of this. No, you can't. Because all the PR you do is matched, and it's not just matched, it's overwhelmed by every bit of social media posting that every actor in Hollywood can bring to bear. And they're better at it because they can fucking act and they can write. And all you got is these fucking PR hacks that think that they know how to fucking pull the wool over people's eyes to make it look like you're not greedy fucks. Like, how do you think you're gonna win the PR war? Just you got MSNBC in your back pocket. Good for you. How many people watch MSNBC and Fox? Far less people than get on TikTok. I guarantee you. Far less people that get on Instagram and Twitter. You're not gonna win that fight. Like, but they get paid 6 figures and 7-figure salaries somehow. Anyway, I've gone. I told you I felt a rant coming on. Gone a bit far afield. The point I was trying to make was the strikes have real world consequences, and I don't think that this story is going to be the first one we hear, which is that on an earnings call, because every quarter, every single quarter, they have to tell the shareholders what's going on, right? So so Warner Brothers Discovery reported that they've downgraded their expected earnings for the quarter. $500 million. They could lose from $300 to $500 million directly due to the strike because they don't have anything new coming out. And here's another thing, that the reason why the strikes work, because all of these, you think all these studios just write a check and they just start making movies and TV shows, right? Like they spend $200 million to make Dune, and they spend $50 million to make whatever TV show. That they just write a check, right? Like you and I would go pay a bill. Nope, that's not the way that works. The way it works is every time they want to make a new thing, they go borrow money, right? Every time they want to make a new movie, they don't spend $200 million of their money. They go to investors, or they go to a bank, or they go to whoever that's going to give them a $200 million loan, and they say, hey, look, we'll make this in X number of months, however, after we've finished making the film, we're going to start paying you back, and we'll pay you interest, right? Like any other loan, except the creditors don't give a fuck about whether or not your movie came out, or whether your TV show came out, or if you got ad revenue or anything. They don't care what your box office was. They don't give a fuck about that. They want their money and their interests, and they're going to start charging you that interest whether or not your shit came out. And that is what's happening. They have invested money in movies and TV shows that are not, they're not going, maybe some of them are going to theaters, but if they were in the middle of filming, they're not done, and they're going to pay that money. They're going to pay interest on that money whether or not it's done. They're going to pay interest on that TV show whether or not it's done. And that's where the power of the strike is, because the WB Discovery, $300 to $500 million short of what they said they were going to earn this quarter. And it's going to keep happening. It's going to happen to every other fucking studio until they figure this stuff out. All right, Lottie, I've ranted. I'm sorry I ran on about that. I mean, look, you heard that. They're going to take a loss, and it's going to keep happening until this strike is going on. Do you think it's enough now, or are they still going to be stubborn?
You can't tell. Rich people don't think like us, man. In their mind, they're like, we'll be fine. Just 500 million.
You know who the shareholder? You know what the shareholders think? Where is my money?
Exactly. I mean, you want to pay a few millions? Is a few millions to lose $1 billion? Is that really? you really are scared to pay just a few million to pay a, and it's sometimes some of these people don't think just if you just pay a few millions, you can make a billion. But right now they're like, nah, we're gonna stand our ground on this one.
It's a
What?
principle. There's a principle here, and they're doing it to set a precedent. Like, no, we can outweight you. So basically whoever outlasts each other in this strike, that's gonna set the tone for the, because if the actors and the writers fold, they'll be getting shit deals for a long time, right? But if the studios fold, they feel like they're not going to be able to exploit things the way they want to. So it's
Mhm.
a question of who has more fortitude. Now, technically, all of the companies have lots of money, right? They could endure this, but at some point, the shareholders, every quarter, shareholders are like, "Where is my dividend? I gave you money, I invested. You said you'd make a certain return on investment. Where the fuck is it?" And every time they say, "Well, we can't put movies out," their stock price goes down, and the shareholders, their their value of their investment diminishes. So at what point, who can last this? Who can outlast this? The shareholders, the people who owe money to the shareholders, or the actors and writers who are unfortunately, you know, taking hits financially. And
Mhm.
whoever can hold out the most is they're gonna get the things most favorably. And I feel like the actors and the writers understand what's going on more than the studios do. They understand the dire situation, and if they fold on the wrong things, it's gonna mean, you know 10-20 years of bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't get it. Just pay your few millions to get a billion. But these companies, man, I don't know.
How dare these
It,
peasants ask for more money?
it's just like you said, the top of the top making hundreds of millions of dollars. And then when people like the one thing that frustrates me is when I see people go like, "Well, what about the super rich actors? Why are they not helping?" I'm like, "Why should they have to pay to get their contemporaries more money? Why should they have to pay? Why does it's like I never understand. Like I remember when in the NFL when the NFL was doing the collective bargaining agreement, they were like, well, if the rookies if they really want to get the rookies more money, why don't the veterans give up their pay? No, motherfucker, why don't the damn billionaire owners just pay for money? God dang.
Yeah,
Jesus.
because rich people don't like to part with their money any more than we do. Less so.
But
They
but what
they want to exploit. That's like, I
But
think.
here's my thing that I don't understand about America, like the country we live in, is that they have this tribalistic mentality of protecting the rich. Like it's you will be surprised. There's a lot of people that think like the Elon Musk and the Bill Gates and all them are like protect all costs, while the millionaires are the ones we should be pissed off at. No, most millionaires were not people that were born with money. They worked their way to get their money. Why should a person who's worth a few million give up his money to where a guy literally if you own if you own $1 billion, you can give up half of your worth and still be worth 500 million, just 1 billion.
Yep.
Not we're talking about like Bill Gates, who's worth like 100 billion, who can give up 90% of his money and still be a multi-billionaire.
Well,
And
what you're talking about is called class warfare, and we don't have time or that's not really the subject of this
yeah,
podcast. That your point's well taken, though. There are people, like, I've seen people give shit ass takes talking about how pissed off they are at the writers and the actors because now the movie they wanted to see isn't going to come out. Bitch, turn your fucking eyes to the people who, if they would just good faith negotiate about the fucking things, it'd be done. This
yep.
That writers and actors are just like, they're striking for a reason. And it's because they can see the way these things are going, and they're going in a bad direction where there's more exploitation, not less. And if you're for exploitation just so you can see a fucking movie, fuck right off. You can in fact, if that's your attitude, and if you're listening, that's your attitude, I hope somehow there's some kind of mystical way, like Spider-Man No Way Home, where Doctor Strange can make sure that you never see any first run anything ever. That the only time you'll ever get to see a new movie or TV show that you really want to watch is going to be on TNT TV edited, because you are so fucking self-absorbed. You lack empathy. You lack any kind of self-awareness, that you really think that you're getting Dune Part 2 is more important than the livelihood of thousands of people. Fuck right off.
Yeah.
And on that note, I think that's all of our thoughts on this for this episode. But maybe we missed something. Maybe we just didn't cover something you thought we should cover, or maybe you have something to say in response to our thoughts, especially that prolific rant. Whatever the case may be, get down to the comment section, leave your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit us up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. And while you're down there, do us a favor, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. All that good stuff helps with the channel, helps us to grow, helps more people to see this podcast and the many other videos on the channel. And of course, if you are listening to us on a podcasting platform, you know what to do. Hit that 5-star, man. Help us out. Or, leave a review and a 5 or 4 or 3, whatever you think we would deserve. We would appreciate that greatly. And of course, I can't do this by myself. Someone has to endure hearing me rant about the class structure, and Lottie handles it gracefully. So Lottie, where can they reach you on social media?
Oh, yeah, you can always find me on my Instagram, which is Anukinihun. It's ANUKINIHUN. Again, it's ANUKINIHUN. And of course, my YouTube channel, which is Anukinihun Animations. I'm gonna start, spooky season's about to happen. There's a couple of horror games that I've been lacking on playing, but I will get back to playing very soon. You can see me freak out and scream live on stream.
Actually sounds like a good time. Yeah, you guys go check that out. Show some love to Lottie while he gets his game on and gets his stream on. That's pretty cool, man. So anyway, well, this has been episode 117 of the Supercast. We appreciate you joining us, and checking out all of our content. That's anything you can do. We've recently passed 200 subscribers. We're trying to make that climb to 300 by the end of the year. And so if you haven't subscribed, man, hook it up. But in the meantime, we got more reviews that you can go check out on the channel. And of course, come back next week for episode 118. So we'll talk about more of this superhero stuff in our pop culture media. Until then, I've been Mo, your commenter extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend Lottie. And we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.
Peace.